Hello everybody, my name is Lily. Welcome back to my channel. So today is September 30th, so you know what that means. September wrap-up time. I read 6 books in the month of September. One of those was an audiobook, and it's only an audiobook, so I don't have a physical copy of it, but it was an okay reading month, I'll say. I read some good books and some books that I have a lot to discuss about. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, first up, I reread The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. This is one of my 5-star reads, and I reread it because I think I read it last in summer 2022 or something, and I was like, no, I think it was 23, and I was like, I don't really remember this, but I remember I really liked it, so I want to reread it. So I did, and I loved it just as much. The banter between these two guys, unreal. Okay, it follows Jack and Hallie, and they had met randomly and really hit it off, and they had a one-night stand situation, and then they both found each other on a dating app and started talking, but they were like, I don't really like the vibe of us dating, but let's be friends and see who can find a date first, who can fall in love first. And then Hallie's sister ends up getting married, and she brings Jack as her date to the wedding, and you can guess where it's gonna go from there. I just love everything about this book. I love the banter. I love both these characters. I love the aesthetic. I don't know if there's a specific aesthetic, but the wedding takes place in Aspen, which is just the scenery in all those scenes was so good. So yeah, highly recommend this book. Next up, I reread The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This was one of the first books I read when I was getting back into reading. I think I read this in 2021 or 2022 when I was a freshman in college, and I loved it. I ate it up. And this time I didn't. There were still some things that I liked about it, but I did feel less connected, to the characters this time around. I still really love Adam. I still think he is such a good character. This man, yearning Adam Carlson, the man that you are. But Olive kind of annoyed me, let me just say. I think I rated this 4 stars the first time I read it, and I dropped it down to a 3 this time. Everyone just kind of made me annoyed. I really did not like her friend, her best friend. I can't even remember her friend's name. Okay, basically, this is Olive, this is Adam. Olive is a PhD candidate student, and Adam is a professor in the college that she's at. She's not his professor. And randomly, she kisses him because she told her friend that she was going on a date, and her friend passed the lab where Olive was, and Olive decides to kiss the first person she sees so that she can convince her friend that she's on a date. And basically it turns into a whole fake dating situation just so that she could make her friends feel better. I don't know. It just felt I was like, this is crazy. I don't know. But there's more to it than that, but I just I found the whole situation kind of ridiculous this time around. And me personally, if my friend did some of the stuff that her friend made her do in this book, I'd be like, are you kidding me? I don't know, but I still liked it. There's still some fun moments, some funny moments, but I don't know, there's also a really important storyline in here about power dynamics and misogyny and just men being terrible. Yeah, 3 stars to my reread of The Love Hypothesis. Also, brief intermission for the Leve shirt. If you watched my concert vlog, I got this shirt at the concert, and it's so cute and so comfortable, and I love it. The next book that I read might be controversial, and I don't know. Let's just chat about it. Next up, I read Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I'll tell you my rating after we discuss. So this really drew me in at first. I was intrigued, okay? I didn't really know much about it other than that there's a lot of controversy with it. And it really drew me in. I did enjoy the first 4 chapters. And then I felt like the writing got really, really repetitive. And I don't think necessarily that the characters were annoying. I like the characters, I like the idea to an extent. I just feel like the writing threw it off for me, and I really didn't like the writing. I almost DNF'd it just because I felt I was just what are we saying? And then something happens at the end that really just pissed me off because why did we do that? So anyways, this world takes place, I think the world is called like Ilia or whatever, the kingdom. And in Ilia, there was a plague a long time ago that gave a bunch of people magic powers and caused some people to not have magic powers. And the king thought that those people, who they call ordinaries, are like bad and are gonna overthrow the kingdom, right? And then they also have like the elites and the mundanes. So the elites have like really cool powers and the mundanes are like, whatever. And basically Peyton Gray is an ordinary and she lives in the place called the Slum, and she lives with her best friend Adina, who is a mundane, I think, maybe an elite, I don't remember. Then there's the other point of view. So the first point of view is from Peyton and the second one is from Kai, who is the king's son, one of two. One of the sons is destined to be the king. His name is Kit. And this son, Kai, is the enforcer, who is basically the guy who's responsible for getting rid of the ordinaries and throwing people in jail. And so he makes a little trip to the slums to do something, and something happens and Peyton comes and saves him. And the next thing you know, there are these things called the trials, which is kind of like the Hunger Games, but there's no reaping, they just get chosen. And it's a bunch of kids with the powers. What's the point of the trials? I couldn't tell you. Just for entertainment, I guess, and to like make each other fight and test their skills and show them off. And Peyton's put into these trials, but she has no powers, so like, what's she gonna do? And then her and Kit kind of strike up a friendship, her and Kai strike up a friendship, and it's just like, there was a lot going on and also nothing at all. And yeah, I don't know, like there's just so many things. Like it's a good idea, it's a good premise, but like I just found the way that the characters were written so frustrating. Like if I have to her to say, I'm nothing, I'm ordinary, blah, 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 one more time, or like, he can never like me, or he can never trust me, him, the future enforcer. I was like, what? Like, I get it, you're an ordinary, he's the enforcer. The amount of times she said she's powerless, like literally, I think 6 times minimum, she'd be like, I'm nothing, I'm an ordinary, I'm powerless, like. But anyways, so my rating for this, I know it's beloved, okay? It's controversial. I rated this a 1.5. I almost DNF'd it, but I didn't. And I'm okay, like I'm probably gonna read the rest of the series. I've heard it gets better. And like now I've read 2 of the 5 books. So I will probably continue the series, but that was my thoughts on Powerless. Maybe controversial, maybe not, I don't know. Then I read Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is the 2nd book in the Maple Hills trilogy. I don't know if it's a trilogy, but 2nd book in the Maple Hill series. This book was just a little cute fluffy romance. I know it doesn't seem like it because I just talked about like 3 romances, but for a while I had been reading a lot of fantasy. It was kind of nice to read a little romance. This was cute. It follows Rory and Russ, and they both have daddy issues, and they both go to the same college, and they had like a one-night stand at a party, didn't communicate. Then they both end up being camp counselors at the same summer camp, and there's a no fraternizing policy, and they fight it and they fight it and they fight it, but of course they become friends and more than that. And like, it was cute, they had good banter. I like how they bonded over their like other family issues. It was cute, it was fun. It made me want to be a camp counselor because it sounded so fun. Just like, it sounded fun. Also, I never really went to like sleepaway camp, so I don't know what that's like. So it kind of was like nice to experience that. I rated this 3 stars. Next, I listened to Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood. It's like a short audiobook. Literally think it was like 2 hours long, 4 hours long, I don't know. It was cute. I have read every single Ali Hazelwood that's out and available. It was cute. I couldn't tell you the characters' names, but it was basically between these like 2 characters who were both designers at 2 rival tech companies, and they need to work together so that they can make this video game. And the main character was very attached to this video game. She used to play it with her dad before her dad died. She was like, we have to get this deal. And in order to make that work, both companies went on a retreat to like a ski lodge or something. And she thinks, like pretty much every single Ali Hazelwood FMC, that the NMC hates her for some reason unbeknownst to her. But what, of course, he doesn't hate her. He loves her. So yeah, they like have a conversation, and of course it was a huge misunderstanding, and then they start hooking up and live happily ever after. And that was basically the whole audiobook, and I rated it 3 stars. They were like 2 little awkward nerds that I was like, oh, you guys are perfect for each other. It was a fun little break in between the other books that I had read. And my final book that I read this month was powerful. The Powerless novella. First of all, a moment for the sprayed edges, love it. And second of all, came with a bookmark. All books should have this. This is the Target edition. I don't know if they sell it anywhere else, but I got it at Target. All books should have this because that was perfect. That was perfect. I was like, man, I need to know where I am. Boom. This is the novella that comes between Powerless and Reckless. I think this was released after Reckless, but I'm just reading them in, you know, the order that makes the most sense. This book follows Adina, who I mentioned previously is Peyton's best friend, and the other point of view is from this guy named Mac. Mac is, I don't even know what he does. He makes weapons. And Adina is a seamstress, right? That's how they kind of meet, I think. And basically, Mac wants to get into the castle so that he can get his cousin or something. And she's like, I'll make you a uniform. And then they like bond, and then other stuff happens that I can't say because it's a spoiler. I rated this a 2.75 just because I liked it better than Powerless, because I really like Adina more than Peyton. Controversial? Maybe. And also this is like way smaller, so I felt like it was more concise and things were explained better and less fluff was used to say nothing. But yeah, I feel like this book was really a device to introduce Mac as a character. Like I said, I've only read the first two, so I really have no idea where this is going from here, but that is the only reason why I feel like this was probably written. But that was my last book of the month, and like, it wasn't terrible, but definitely not my favorite book I've ever read. Well, thank you so much for watching. That was my September reading wrap up. Like I said, small month, didn't have any crazy new amazing reads that stuck out to me, and had a couple disappointments, but nevertheless we prevail. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.